this is a video on what am I even doing? Why am I posting videos on YouTube? Okay, first of all, okay, there actually I have this. Ooh, the video's mirrored. I don't know what's yeah. But there's a few things that I want to talk about. First of all, I have the importance of documentation, but then you could be like, oh my god, why don't you can film a video and keep it on a USB flash drive and like look at it every 5 years. Why do you have to put it on a public thing that everyone can see? But I think that it's because it's almost like, I don't really know how to say this, but it's almost like when you have things that only belong to you and that only you can see, it's almost like it never left your head. Like, yes, it could be, a physical drawing on a physical piece of paper, but if it's in a journal that only you will ever see, and you keep it beneath the floorboards and no one even knows that it's there, it's almost like, again, it's almost like it never left your head. And like in your own reality, as you experience reality, really it never left your head. Because no other like conscious being, I don't know, no other person is seeing it, so really it only belongs to you. But I think that like there are things that I think and that I experience or like things that I'm documenting of myself that I don't want to only be in my head, that I would be happy if they were just like out in the world, because it would make me feel like they're actual concrete things that exist outside of myself. And I think that this whole like publishing it for just like a random stranger who lives in, I don't know, Spain, could see my video and click on my video and it would be out there. I think that just makes it feel so much more like real and like an actual concrete cemented experience, and not just something that I have. Okay, just to add on, I think that like even thinking about it now, like thinking about like, oh my god, I'm going through this video and I'm adding like not captions but like little like chapters almost, and I'm thinking like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to put this online, and it's just something that is so like harrowing to think about. Just the fact that like these are all of my thoughts, like I could just keep this on my computer and never show anyone, and it would still like effectively be as if it only ever existed in my head, and I'm fine with that. Like that is okay with me. But I think that the challenge of like putting it there is something that, I mean, it's so nerve-wracking, but the fact that it's so nerve-wracking just means that like once I do it, it'll be so like, I hate to use the word empowering because I feel like it's like it's kind of like, how the word woke has been like villainized. I feel like it's almost the same thing, but just like putting it there, I mean, yeah, my point is that this is very frightening for me and I am nervous thinking about it, but I think that like that practicing putting this sort of thing out, and actually putting this sort of thing out is, I mean, it just helps you get over it and it helps you learn, and I think that's very good. So that's what I'll do, probably. No, okay, I will put it out. I'll do it. I'll even do it today. I will. It's the Sunday, December 8th today, and I'll put it out today. Probably. No, I will. I'll do it. I will. So, okay, so why am I doing this? I mean, that's the reason that I'm posting things in public. The reason that I'm filming videos at all, first of all, I think just talking to a camera is very nice. It's very therapeutic. Also, I'm very bad at it because I think, I'm just not very good at. I'm so much more articulate in my head, and that's something that I want to work on. I think there's something, well, like I used to, I think the first time I realized that I just like really suck at talking is, especially talking to people, is I was with my friend. This was in like grade 9, and I went to her house and we were walking around. We were making cookies or whatever, and she was telling me about like books that she was reading, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, that's so cool. And I was, very reaffirming and stuff, but I was adding nothing of my own to the conversation because I just didn't know what to say. Like, it wasn't even that there were like so many options going through my brain. No, there was blank. I was like, what do I even say? So I think that was the first time that I realized, like, oh, this is why I'm so bad at being friends with people, is because I have nothing of my own I don't know what to say to people. It's gotten a lot better now though. And that's because I so last year in chemistry, I had three friends that I was sitting with in chemistry, and one of them was like a serial yapper, and I don't know, something about her just um allowed me to just talk, and and it was fine, and I got so good at it, and I, like, whenever I'm around that one friend, I can't shut up, and we have math together, and the instant the teachers finish the lecture, my friend turns around and I sit behind her and we just start talking, and we don't shut up, and it's so nice. um so I'm getting better, but I think it's something that I have to work on, is to just be able to speak outside of my head. Again, this is all very like, because historically I'm a person who very much keeps everything to myself. And oh my god, even like I have a therapist because I kind of got messed up at a very young age by an external fact sort of person, and um and um so I have a therapist. But she was like, "Oh, you have to learn to be more vulnerable," and I think that's so true. And I think that a very big part of that is just learning to take what is going on in here and just being fine with it being out in the world and being okay with that. So, and then part of that is just to be able to talk and to express my thoughts in words that go out of my mouth and don't just exist over here. The other thing is that there's so many, like, I watch video essays sometimes. That's like mainly what I watch on YouTube, and those people are so articulate. Like, I know that a lot of them have like speaking points, or some of them even have like a sort of an outline or like a script. I kind of have that, but like they're just so articulate, and I'm not. Like, this is so, and it's something that I really want to get better at. So that's the other thing. Yeah, so be able to talk and feel comfortable with being able to talk. That's my first thing. The next one is, well, I mentioned this, is the importance of documentation. I realized I have a journal. Here it is. Whoops. Okay, a lot of stuff just fell off my desk. But I have a journal, and it's getting really full. I have to get another one before it runs out. But I realized, I mean, technically I started journaling last year because my English teacher told us to, and I really, really liked it. So after the class ended, I just kept going. But I was stupid and I wrote those on just like slips of paper and not in an actual book. So I have a box full of just like pieces of paper that I meant to glue into a journal, but I never did. Anyway, I started journaling and I realized that I'm just retaining so much more of my life this way. Like, and it's really sad because like I can't really remember just like the little mundane things that, like, I've been thinking about. I think that's what our lives are, is those little mundane in between moments. It's not like, oh my god, Trump became the president, that's the defining factor of my life, or like, oh, COVID. Well, okay, I think those really huge events like shape our lives a lot, but what our lives really are, they're made up of all those tiny little moments, but they're so easily discarded because we just they happen so often, they're so frequent, and they're so small, and they're so insignificant, or they feel so insignificant that we just don't really appreciate them for what they are, I think. So like a month ago, for example, I in physics, my one friend, we were drawing like the physics like these things, and we drew hands, and my friend drew like a work of art, and it was so beautiful, and then mine was really stupid, and we were laughing over it for like a good 15 minutes, and we were doing that thing where like you have to like be really quiet because the teacher was still lecturing, and it was really funny, and I'm not making it sound really funny, but I swear it was. And but that's like one of those things, and like that used to happen all the time, like in grade 9, where that was like the year when I started making very good friends. It was like there would be at least one thing every single day where we'd like laugh until we started crying, but I barely remember. I mean, I remember the ones that I wrote down, and that's what I'm trying to say. That's like, I wish I could remember all of them. um but I mean, I think we let so much of our lives just pass us by, and we don't even try to retain some of it. And the point isn't retention. Like, don't. It's not to become a hoarder or like an avid collector of all these memories, and to always look back on the past and never in the present or the future, whatever. I don't know, but that's not the point. The point is just that like you have to, I think, in order to actually appreciate your experiences and appreciate your life and learn from things and grow from things, is you have to start by remembering them, and you have to start by, well, after you remember them, you can start understanding them, and then you can start either appreciating them or, trying to think about how you can grow from them. I never know when it starts recording. Um, Something I forgot to say was, I think the reason why, I mean, I keep mentioning I have a journal, but the reason why I want to also document things in video form is because I think it's just, I guess just like different formats of documentation really help to humanize someone. And because like the whole point of this is to just like understand who I was at the time of making this, and like not really retain who I was or like clutch onto that person and be afraid to change, but how do I say this? But like to just understand who I was and see how I changed from this point, I guess. But like I want to see who I am as a person and not just see who I am as like ink on paper or whatever. Because so an example, I guess, is like Tchaikovsky, the composer. For the longest time, his music was kind of just music to me. Like it never felt like it was made by a person. It kind of just felt like it was like always there, you know? And even he as a person, like I'll look at his photos and it's just like some Russian guy just rigidly sitting there, you know? And like even like he wrote letters or whatever to his friends and things, and like some of them got published, I think, and you can read them, but like it's still not like a person, you know? But recently, well, not that really, this was like maybe 2 months ago, I was on YouTube Shorts, okay, and I came across like a thing of Tchaikovsky's voice, and all of a sudden like he was just speaking with expression, and like I think it was he was telling a pianist how to play during a rehearsal, and there was just so much expression and so much like he was just a man with a voice, like he was a guy, he was a human being, and I think like that element just humanized him so much. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is like with different methods of documentation, it's like, well, I'm not just, writing on paper, and I'm not just, well, I have my school photos in here just because I wanted to like remember what I looked like at the time. I won't show them because I think I look quite bad, but oh, I'm wearing the same shirt as I am now though. But I like, it's just documentation. Like I could only be documenting in a journal or whatever, but I think the reason why I also want to document on video is just to, I do have a voice, and I have a certain way of speaking, and I enunciate certain words, and I don't know, maybe if I move somewhere else one day my accent will change, or like, I don't know. just little things like that. Like I have a certain body language or a certain style of dress or of doing my hair, and I know something's gonna change, but while it's like during the process of change, you never know that it happens, and then once it's happened, if you don't document it, you don't even know that it happened. But I think it's so nice to know that it happened, because it's so nice to see how you grow and change, and that's something that I've only really accepted recently. Like, I was very much an avid change hater until like probably a few months ago. But anyway, yeah, that's the reason why I want to document in video footage in addition to journaling. Yeah, documentation. Also, I think the thing is that like when you grow and when you become a different person, I think you also lose who you used to be, not only in the sense that like obviously you're not them anymore, but also you forget what the world looked like through their eyes. So I think that's the reason why there's almost like it's almost like a culture clash or like culture barrier between, for example, like adults and kids, or like adults and teenagers, or adults and toddlers. I don't know. Like, a lot of adults won't know how to approach children or teenagers or toddlers just because they don't know how to talk to them, because obviously they used to be a toddler, they used to be a teenager, but they grew out of that, and as they grew out of that, like, they don't understand how those people see the world anymore, and so they can't communicate with them anymore. And I just think that that's so sad. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's not just that, like, just I think it just makes you a better person if you're able to relate to those people. And especially, oh my god, especially when you hear those adults who are like, oh, you're such a stupid teenager, and you're stupider than all the other teenagers, and I know that because I used to be a teenager, and I was a much better teenager than you were, and they probably weren't, but they just have this super self-righteous way of looking at it because they're looking at it through the lens of an adult and not through the lens of a teenager, because they don't remember what it's like to be a teenager anymore. So yeah, that's on the importance of documentation. Also, I think there's this whole thing with like documenting myself as I am with myself and seeing myself as I am with myself. I think the interesting thing is actually here that I don't feel like I'm talking to an audience at all. First of all, I'm not expecting anyone to watch this, which is pretty nice. I hope that it gets like 2 views max. But like, it's kind of like, because I think that we become different people when we're around different people, because you reflect elements of yourself that, you know, correspond to them, and you're still yourself. But I think like this is what I already said, you reflect different elements of yourself depending on who you're with. But I think that like seeing me as I am around myself is something to be explored. And I think like as you, like, a lot of people when they're in their like mid-adolescent, I'm 17, it's sort of like they're starting, and I think like 20s as well, they're starting to kind of like try to understand who they are as a person. And that's sort of what I'm trying to do too, I guess. And the really nice thing is that I have my whole life to find out, and I know the answer is going to change, and I'm fine with that. I think I kind of accepted that. Okay, now that's a different subject. Anyway, yeah, so just documenting how I am with myself I think is a very nice thing. And again, I mean, all these things like learning how to be more eloquent and learning how to take things from my head and say them out loud, and documentation, like I could do all this and save this on a USB and like hide it in my drawer. But again, I think like the element of putting it out into the world is what makes it feel real and makes it feel like I could just talk and have it almost be equivalent to talking in my head. Like, people talk out loud sometimes, and I know that like has a different effect. I'm not really sure about, I know nothing, okay, but I think just like the option of people being able to see this, it just makes it different, because it's like I know that it might not only be for myself, and I accept that, and I think that's fine. Which I think is very important, because that's like part of this whole thing, is to be fine with being perceived by other people, which is good. Okay, that said, I really, really hope that no one that I actually know sees this, because first of all, like going back to that thing where like like people are like present different elements of themselves with different around different people. It's like if someone knows me one way and then they see me like this and they're like, wow, she's not the way that she is with me. Actually, I think I'm pretty consistent around people, but maybe I'm not. I don't know. But like it's just weird. But that's not even what's weird. The weird thing is that like, do you tell them like, "Oh, I saw the video you posted on YouTube that once," and then what do you even say to that? Like it's just so odd. Or what would be even worse? Oh my god, what if what if one of my teachers sees this? That would suck. Yeah, it would really suck. Or someone in like one of my classes who I've never spoken to and I don't know their name, but I know them by appearance, and sometimes I pass them in the hallway and they know me by appearance, and sometimes they pass me in the hallway, and then suddenly they come across a video on YouTube and it's like, oh my god, isn't that the girl from physics who I only ever see the back of her head? That would suck so much. That would really suck. Yeah, it would be very odd. So I hope those people don't see this. I hope no one sees this except for complete strangers that I'll never have to come across ever. Also, just because it's like I feel like it's such a cringe thing to do is to post videos on YouTube. I don't know. But like, yeah, I don't know. So I hope those people don't see this. Oh my god, what if family friends see this? Maybe I shouldn't even post this, you know what? No. I think it's nice. And I think it's a nice little experiment to do. Oh yeah, why did this even start? Okay. So I read a book. Oh, it's right here. It's called The Encyclopedia of an Ordinary Life. This book is so good. But she's just like alphabetizing just like her thoughts on things and experiences that she had, and just like stuff. Please read this book. I love this book. But also I kind of used it as a journal. Like I said what I thought about it, and I finished this book in like 2 days. It was so good. 2 days, and I had a test. And I read it instead of studying, but I did well in the test, so it's fine. What am I trying to say? Oh yeah, I think it would be nice because you know how on YouTube you can make like playlists, and then you can alphabetize things, and it's just like, and then you can look through the alphabetized stuff. And the nice thing is because like it's not in order of time, so then maybe, oh, this is so weird to think about. One day I'll be 20 years old, and probably I won't be posting videos on YouTube anymore. Maybe this will be the only video that I actually post. Maybe I'll wait until I'm 20 to post this video. I don't know. But like at some point, if I'm older, okay, and there's a video and it's like it's under the B section, and then there's a video of when I'm old, and there's a video of when I'm 17, but they're like adjacent letters, and then you see them, and I just think that's so interesting. And then not only do you have the alphabetized thing, but then you also have like an order of time, and you just like see, like you can go on YouTube and go through a person's videos and not even watch them, but just look at the thumbnails and see how they change and evolve, and that's just so cool, and I think it's really nice. So this is what started this, and then I guess I kind of justified it with other answers. I don't know if those are, oh, that's a different topic. I'm not even gonna start talking about that, but yeah, so that's why I'm doing this. That's what this is. This is 20 minutes. No one is gonna watch this in its entirety, and that's fine with me. I'm happy about that. Okay,